Nazem Kadri, over to you in Calgary.
Thank you, Ron. Yes, pleased to have Nazem Kadri with us in After Hours tonight, working on his 5th 20-goal season of his career. But, Nazem, I know that's of little consolation to you, given the position the Calgary Flames are in. We're not going to do an autopsy on the season, but I have to ask you for your take on what's happened here to see the Flames in such a spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. Obviously, it sucks, and the guys in the dressing room aren't thrilled about it. But, you know, like I said, you catch a couple unfortunate bounces, you end up chasing it, and, you know, that's kind of been the story this year. So, you know, we'll find a way to dig ourselves out.
It's not as though the Flames are being run out of buildings. The games have been close, Millsy.
Yeah, you sure have. I mean, I wonder about the 2 games this week, how tough they were on your group going into tonight. The way you played so well against the Bruins, you played a great game against the Maple Leafs as well. It's got to be difficult coming into this match based on the week, the way it went.
Certainly. I mean, I think that's what makes it a little more frustrating,
yeah,
you know, just that you're in every single game, and, you know, if you find a way to just grab a hold of a handful of those, and you're in a totally different position. So, you know, we feel like we can compete with the best teams, and, you know, I certainly feel like we've proved that over the season, but, you know, we have some lapses, and that's kind of what's been costing us.
Have to speak to our producer for a moment and ask him if he can switch the monitor to live. There you go. You signed here last August to great acclaim, and quickly became a fan favorite. They couldn't keep Kadri sweaters on the shelves to start. What's your assessment of your own season?
Yeah, grinding, just like everybody else, you know, just trying to contribute as much as possible. And, you know, obviously when things aren't going your way, it becomes a little tougher. But, you know, always a guy that's not going to quit, just like most of those guys in the dressing room. And, you know, we're going to continue to try to push. And, you know, if we're going to go down, it's going to be swinging.
All right, let's move to a week ago tonight. Flames in Denver to play the Avalanche, with whom you won the Stanley Cup about 9 months ago. And you got an emotionally charged welcome back. What were you thinking?
Try not to cry, I think. I mean, first and foremost, that was certainly a challenge for me. But, man, it's just such great memories, and the fans treated me so well out there, and I got nothing but love and respect for that city and organization. So that was an absolute treat. It meant the world to me.
Okay, here's what Nathan MacKinnon, now your opponent, was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, he's a legend here forever. He only played here 3 seasons, but I could tell he was emotional watching that. I know how special all of us are to him and him to us. So such a great person, such a great teammate, and we definitely miss him.
And it was pretty cool, the opening face-off, huh?
Yeah.
You guys both there, a little tap with each other.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's all right.
He's awesome. He's such a good friend of mine still. You're trying to get ready for a game, but, you know, at the end of the day, you're good friends, and we accomplished something so special that we'll always have that bond.
How did he say goodbye?
How's that sound to you?
It sounds excellent. I mean, I feel like I would have chirped him if he said anything else. You know, Nate Dogg's just he's a good buddy of mine, and obviously we mesh well together, and, man, just a great group of guys, and, you know, it's really enjoyed hearing that.
As I'd be interested, now that you're a champion and you've gone through it and you've watched players like Landeskog and Nathan, what did you learn as a player going through that experience? I think every player learns something when you win a championship. I know you've done it in the past, but not at this level.
Yeah, of course. I just, you know, it seemed like, you know, the guy next to you was just ready to go every single night, and, you know, you look across the room and you know that guy was coming to play, and you know, I didn't think we needed much cheerleading amongst the group. I think everyone kind of had that accountability to go out there and just take care of business and doing it for each other. So, you know, obviously when you have that special group off the ice, it translates on the ice, and that's exactly what happened.
If you play a significant role in a run to the Cup, you're going to have your place in history in that city, and you do in Denver with the Avalanche. But the way you said goodbye to your Avalanche teammates in the team chat really has come in for a lot of attention. Nathan MacKinnon called this abrupt goodbye. No deals on the ice. Nazem Kadri has left the chat. Typical Naz, is it?
I mean, just for logistics, that is not an official text message from me.
No, we made that up.
That was completely made up. But it was somewhere along the lines of that, for sure.
A reasonable facsimile.
For sure. And, you know, it's just kind of a sense of humor thing. And obviously all those guys know me as a player and as a person. And, you know, I wanted to be the first to break the news to them, so I told them, and, you know, obviously I didn't want them hearing it from anybody else, but, I think when you're playing against your friends out there, it makes you push a little bit harder and want to win a little bit more. So I'm sure they'd say the same. So that's what happened.
Key moment in the run to the Cup, Game 4 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Here it is.
But now they're going to be caught. Here comes Kadri shooting. It's in. And it's in, or is it? Where is it? Does Vasilevsky have it?
Oh, it's in. It's in the back of the net.
So it was in, and it's the OT winner on a yeah. Did you know it was in?
Did you know?
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird sequence. I mean, I thought it'd gone in, but then Vasilevsky was kind of pinching his arm, so I thought he might have had it because no one reacted, and then I found out it was in afterwards. So my initial thought was it was in, but it wasn't. It was confirmed by Bo there, and then we started selling.
So it was the OT winner on a brilliant individual effort. Even more impressive when we consider that you had broken your thumb 18 days earlier against the Edmonton Oilers, had to have surgery, couldn't grip your stick for 10 days, and you did that. How did you do it?
I have no idea. Couple needles.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
That's some freezing, which I mean they kind of went in through my wrist too.
Oh,
so
boy.
that was a pain. I was not looking for. I was more nervous for that than I was for the actual game. So.
How much did that hurt?
Oh man,
my
it sucked.
goodness. Oh.
It sucked.
Yeah.
And they couldn't freeze the whole thing, right? Because I still had to feel underneath my thumb. So they could only freeze the top, unfortunately. So I had to deal with some pain and. Could barely put my glove on, really, but with the adrenaline and I saw the guys around me. I had to push.
The goal was not without controversy. Tampa Bay claimed too many men, and there may have been, but that wasn't going to change. And then the ultimate troll job by Nazem Kadri to come up with the Too Many Men T-shirts. These sold like hotcakes in support of your foundation. What was the final total of money raised?
Yeah, so that was quite popular for sure. It was just obviously a bit of a joke, and I think everyone kind of received it that way. But over $200,000 we were able to raise. Those things were selling like crazy, as you mentioned, and 100% of the proceeds went to charity. So that was definitely a little cherry on top.
Wow, that's a lot of money. So we'll talk some more about your foundation in a moment, but I want to have another look at the T-shirt design. I think it looks like 6 helmets there. Is that right?
That's right, yep.
Yeah. And your wife, Ashley, reached out to a local Denver designer named Adrienne Ruth. She did a few mock-ups, found a printer who could get the T-shirts done in time for the Cup celebrations. And I thought what a masterful marketing move it was by you to wear the shirt to the Denver celebrations.
I mean, that was completely intentional. So that's kind of, I had the feeling like, we were going to try to raise some money, and I knew the people of Denver would be itching to get their hands on one. So, Adrienne, we reached out to her. She's a fantastic local designer. She designed the shirts, and we partnered, and we're able to raise some serious cash.
Nazem, your evolution as a player, you know full well that earlier in your career you were sometimes described as a detriment to your team through a few suspensions, and that made the Stanley Cup victory even sweeter and led to this frank comment in the on-ice celebrations.
Here we go.
Here it is.
I've had supporters in my corner from day one, never wavered. And, for everyone that thought I was a liability in the playoffs, you can kiss my ass.
Spur of the moment, right?
Yeah, I loved it. I had to, rub that in a little bit. So, just of course the emotions of the game and winning, and just had to get it off my chest.
Your day with the Cup, you took it to your mosque in London. The significance of this cannot be overstated because you came into the NHL expected to build a bridge between Muslim communities and hockey. Could there have been a better way to do it than this?
There really couldn't. This is certainly one of the more special moments I've had throughout my career, my entire life, and I was sure to enjoy every single second of it. So just, standing outside in front of the mosque and just seeing all the kids that came out, just in absolute, they were just starstruck that the Stanley Cup was right in front of them. And, that's something I'll never forget. 15
years from now, there could be a group of kids excelling at the game the way you have, saying to whoever asks that, I remember the day that Kadri brought the Cup to the mosque, and that was my inspiration. Have you thought about that?
I have, and really that was the plan. Just try to set a trend and be a role model to the youth, and of course it always helps when someone looks like you that is in that situation and has excelled in his career, and I hope that that can continue to break down the barriers.
I want to quote Faisal Joseph, former chairperson of London Muslims, who said, using a hockey analogy, Nazem has taken us over the goal line. We never had the profile until tragedy struck, and now the good. How does that make you feel?
It's goosebumps, really. I've done everything in my career to try to represent my family and myself as in our community as best as possible, and I hope I've done a good job. There's certainly been some mistakes along the way that I've been accountable for, but at the end of the day, you just you try to be that inspiration, and it's an absolute privilege that I'm even able to have that opportunity.
So we put a couple of pictures together here. You tell us what you think the caption should be.
I mean, then versus now. That's,
you're touching it. And, I still haven't touched that baby. So there goes that idea.
See,
I mean, you want it and you touched it.
I don't really believe in that. So I'm glad.
Well, I don't now.
All you superstitious people out there, settle down. Settle down. So,
well, obviously, there goes that one.
I was obviously a huge fan of the Stanley Cup, and I just the fact that, that cup that I was touching when I was, 3 years old was
Amazing.
the same cup I was lifting last year. So it's absolutely incredible.
I can't even imagine, to be honest.
Well, the caption could be something as a dream come true, but I was just thinking now of, how about this? Anyone who thought I couldn't get there can kiss my ass.
Yeah, we'll put that in quotations, too. Exclamation mark.
Part of the dream come true is to be presented with your Stanley Cup, which you were here on opening night in the game in which you beat the Avalanche. But Nathan MacKinnon and company made time after the game to present you with the ring, replete with, I think, 166 diamonds, but minus the sling that you might need to wear because it's so big. So Spitfire asks this question, how often do you put on the Stanley Cup ring?
Hardly ever. I mean, really, I've caught myself a couple times at home just slipping it on and having a look, but in watching the video, it came, obviously you guys saw with the cool presentation there, and just the guys presenting it to me, and on opening night, facing my former team that we won with, it was just a bizarre story, and it was so nice to just cap it off with receiving that ring and just having the guys by my side, and Bedsy was there too, and it was just a real special moment. So I don't put it on too often, but I definitely have a peek every once in a while.
I talk to my friends that have won cups, and they say the same thing: friends for life.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of that bond, huh? It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize how tight that becomes after you won a championship.
And that's another thing I mentioned in the group chat before I ninja bombed. I was, I said, hey, friends for life, we're bonded for life. We're going to be having reunions 10, 20,
Right.
30 years from now and still, being around the same guys. So it's certainly, amazing to think about.
Well, the legendary Fred Shero said it best, I guess, when he said, win today and we walk together forever, right? Another vintage picture. It's you and your father, Sam, wearing Montreal Canadiens garb, and I'm guessing Sam's hockey dream for you included you playing for the Canadiens. Sam immigrated to Canada from Lebanon in the 60s. Playing the game was financially beyond him, but if he hadn't used hockey to assimilate to Canadian culture, you would never have made it to the NHL. Fair? Fair,
Absolutely. I mean, he moved to Canada and fell in love with the game and the Habs specifically. And, it's a funny story because my grandfather's brother actually immigrated from Lebanon, and they were thinking about going to Canada, but he instead went to Brazil.
Oh.
And my grandfather actually almost went with him. So had that have happened, I would have
You'd be playing soccer.
Exactly. I'd be kicking around a soccer ball. I don't know if they have too many ice rinks out there, but
You'd like the paycheck over there.
Yeah, no kidding. Maybe I should have been a soccer player. But it was just a cool story behind that, and you never know. One decision can change your whole life, and I'm sure glad we picked Canada.
Let's get to your social conscience. The Nazem Kadri Foundation has done some magnificent work, not the least of which is the Nazem Kadri Surgical Center at London Health Sciences, made possible by your $1 million donation. How did this come about?
Just something that was in the process for a little while, and had the opportunity to meet some great people and some great doctors, and kind of walk me through the process, and as soon as I found out and I went and checked out the building, I looked at the design, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. So, it's just...
But why this project is, in comparison to many others that you would have been soliciting your support?
I think this was just a little bit different, just the carry on, the family name, and my name is my grandfather's name, and just to have his, his name up there on the building, I think meant a lot. And also it's next level healthcare. It optimizes surgeries, gets people in and out in the same day. Went and saw the design. Floor-to-ceiling windows in a surgery room is not common to see, so it's very casual. And, people that know that have had surgeries, it can be quite an anxious moment and a lot of anxiety. So it's just a, cool thing for me to get involved in, and I'm happy I did. You
may have already answered this, but I've read somewhere that it's the first of its kind in Canada, the Nazem Kadri Surgical Center. What makes it that?
I think just the optimization of the surgeries. I think, just you can, any low-risk surgery, you can be in and out in a matter of a couple hours. So I think that's pretty uncommon. And like I mentioned before, the design of the building is just state-of-the-art. Natural lights coming in. You feel very cozy in there, and it's not as anxious. So, looking forward to maybe many more.
And do you perform surgery there in your off time?
Yeah, I actually went to school before I was a hockey player.
Well, did you at least stay in a Holiday Inn?
When people catch high sticks, I'm zipping them up in the back, too. So,
It's not just the surgical center.
I'll stay on the outside looking in.
Good decision. Not just the surgical center. Your foundation is active in many parts of the community, as evidenced by these large check presentations. So take us through each of these, starting with Ronald McDonald House.
So yeah, the foundation's been raising money for about 8-9 years now, and been able to raise millions of dollars, which I'm very appreciative for. And these are just a couple of the beneficiaries. Usually we kind of like to spread the love a little bit. And Ronald McDonald House, women's hospice, food banks, tragedies, you name it. We kind of try to spread it out evenly amongst everybody. Can't always help everyone, but you try to just kind of dip your toe in everywhere. So, led by a great committee. My mother, Sue, she's probably watching this. Hi, Ma. What's up? She's an absolute leader. And
is Sam not the vice chair, too? Of the
yeah. Sammy's involved also. Yeah. Pops is watching for sure, guarantee. So, hi back home. But I couldn't have done it without those guys. I have such a wonderful committee, and, they help move everything forward.
In any charitable organization, you face tough decisions as to who to grant money to. Are you and your wife, Ashley, actively involved in those decisions?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as a committee, we're in group chats. We're discussing. Maybe not every day. Obviously, I'm quite busy during the season, but we hop on some calls and discuss things together. And it's all about the teamwork and the committee, and whatever we decide together, we go with.
The highest calling in the world is to be of service to others, and you are through the Nazem Kadri Foundation. You should be proud. You and Ashley welcomed your daughter, Nyla, in 2019. She's a busy tot, obviously, right now. You said in a Players Tribune article last spring, now that you have a daughter, you see so much more in yourself. What did you mean by that?
She's like a mini me, kind of. I just...
Get a little payback?
Yeah, oh man, it's coming.
I bet it's
coming. That's the unfortunate part, but I'm gonna enjoy it while she still loves me and wants to be around me.
Oh, she'll love you forever. You're the dad. You're all right now.
So I'm enjoying the toddler years, but she's quite smart, and it's just an absolute privilege and joy to be around her. And you see life through a different perspective. So that's helped my patience certainly, and probably a good thing.
Finally, Nazem, this family picture, anything with the cup in it is special, but how special is this one?
Yeah, this was amazing. Very cool. This was, I think, probably a day or two after we won. I just had it back at my place. The cup guys were great. They just
you got it pretty quickly, huh?
Yeah, they swung it by the crib for a few minutes, and we got to drink out of it and take some photos with it, and just the whole fam was there, obviously, for the playoffs. So that was a very special moment for us, and we got a lot of cool pics.
Okay, got 30 seconds left. The tweets from Ben Jones. He wants to know how Jazzy's doing And he says thank you from an Avs fan.
Jazzy's kicking. She's living. She's
Jazzy's
living
your
life
cat,
right now
right?
in a nice house. She's
Yeah.
got a nice setup. So, yeah, she was a rescue. I've had her for about 9 years now. So.
She
She's
has
a
her
treat.
own Instagram
She's a
account
treat.
with 15,000 followers, right?
That's correct. Isn't that astonishing?
Nice work.
Can't believe it.
I can't either.
All right, Nazem. We've run out of time. Really
All right,
appreciate
guys.
you joining
Thank
us here tonight.
Thank you. Anytime.
Yep.
My pleasure.
Nazem Kadri was our guest on After Hours. Back to conclude proceedings at Scotiabank Saddledome in Calgary in a moment.